It snowed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, twice.
Yeah.
And we had school out. This was yesterday.
Yeah.
This was today.
Yeah, we'll be back in school. We were out Wednesday. We'll be back on Thursday, and I'm going to kind of address that a little bit. But,
good.
So,
all right, I'm ready.
Why we're doing it. So, all right. So, who's our sponsor?
We don't have one.
How come?
Well, it's all about because it's cold and yucky and snowy, and
right.
Ivan's been busy. We'll blame it on Ivan.
All right. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. Again, I didn't know how that went. It's
But
really none of my business.
We do have
It's
something
not
cool,
like my
though.
show.
The another shameless plug for the All About Hennessey Post newspaper. We have all. There's got to be a couple hundred of them. Every pre-K and elementary students' Santa letters.
Oh, fantastic!
Are in this week's Hennessey Post, the digital newspaper.
Yeah.
So go to allaboutHennessey.com, click on the digital newspaper button, and they're all there. It's pretty cool. It was neat to see some of the comments and things they're wanting. I actually had to Google what a banana robot was.
What was it?
Apparently there is such a thing. It's a robot that looks like a banana.
Yeah. What does it do?
No idea.
Huh?
I didn't go that far.
Does it like look for 3 flavors of ice cream in a dish?
Oh, now that's a banana split. That was an old 60s TV show.
Right. Yeah, I did not know it was a TV show. I know it's a tasty treat from Brahms. But if you had the banana robot seeking out all the other, like you could say, this is my banana robot. I want a banana split. Go find the other ingredients.
I like that.
And put it all together.
Sit back and it would deliver it to you.
Right.
Okay.
Like you're not probably burning enough calories as it is.
I think Ivan's daughter wanted that, so we're going to find out what this is all about.
He'll
give us a demonstration. Good.
Yeah. That would be interesting to find out what that is.
So school was out, and we did a virtual day.
Right.
And then, so I got a question, because we're getting a lot of comments about this virtual day / snow day thing.
I got a note to talk about that as well.
I figured you got that on there, because people wanted to know, are we ever going to have an actual snow day?
Sure.
So I'll let you jump in. You got lots of stuff.
No, this is just we had board meeting Monday night. This is just kind of a wrap up. Not everybody gets to attend board meetings or wants to attend them, but maybe they were interested in some of the information.
There were donuts.
Well, every board meeting. I started back. My very first job was at Allen Clio. Paula Young was the Timberly Yeck, Randy Franklin, Ginger Cox all rolled into one that I worked with, and she told me that the kind of the tradition was that we had coffee and cookies. Of course, don't drink coffee, so I always had iced tea. But ever since then, I've always provided treats for the board meetings. It's not in the contract. It's not it's not something that's a requirement. The next guy may not. Or next person. I don't know if it'll be a boy or girl, but they may not buy treats. I don't know, but I do, and I have gotten in the habit of just giving that task to Tracy Solis at
Eat It Up. And she does a good job.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a little excitement of its own, because I never know what it is. I used to go get 24 cookies. Well, now it's just 24 treats.
There were Christmas cookies this week.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. But that is the range, because there was Christmas cookies and some donuts. There again, I'm kind of believing maybe it's whatever was left in the refrigerator.
Clean out the refrigerator and give it to Mike.
Yeah. Cook it up and we'll take it to the board members.
They were good anyway. Yeah.
But she does a phenomenal job with that. I'm in my casual clothes today. Jack Black, in Nacho Libre, he had his stretchy pants and his casual clothes.
The twin thing. Sure.
So yes, I don't have sorry about that.
Careful.
AllaboutHennessey.com.
We're gonna have to work on that.
So we're on Thursday. They're seeing this Thursday, right? So it's Wednesday that we're recording it, and we are out of school Wednesday.
Correct. But we're back in today, which is now really Thursday, tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay.
And so what we had was a virtual day. And what happens on a virtual day is the students take their devices home. The teachers then have a schedule about what classes meet at what times. They have a responsibility to present material to the classes that they are responsible for.
I actually saw for the first time today, I guess we shared it, Mrs. Fuchsa posted the schedule of what's happening what hour.
Okay.
And I'm not even sure what school it was for, but it was.
She's in the middle high school area, so it's probably for those two. But
yep. And that got like a lot of views, like people kind
Yeah.
of like, dude, this is kind of neat.
This is when our kiddos are expected to be online and
Okay.
working, and so we are obligated to attend 1,080 hours. That's the length of time, and 1,050 of those hours, and that's based on a 6-hour day, and you divided the math out, and it was what we were already attending by days. They just said that, well, an equivalent amount of time is what's important, not the fact that it's a chronological day.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like creation. Is a day fully a 24-hour day before there was a sun and a moon? You know, it's kind of like that.
Getting pretty deep over
So,
here. Okay.
so what we have traditionally done is built in snow days or inclement weather days, we like to call them, because now if there's a
could be
imminent,
anything.
yeah, if there's imminent danger because of a storm, a tornado or something like that. We haven't ever had any earthquake days, but we may have to start scheduling those in. But so we schedule days in to make up for the fact that we don't want to have to attend longer, because you're just, once you graduate, why be back in school? Everyone knows you're just killing time, and it's not very productive, and it's not very good time to spend. After you're already waiting, because now you're talking about being in school in May.
Sure.
When you're much nicer to be out and doing things than it will be by the time we get through January, February, and March. So, but we've rarely ever used all of our inclement weather days. And there's schools that have been doing this virtual day well ahead of when we were doing it. Years ago, they started saying, hey, this is a way we could continue to have class, especially when the ability to use video on the internet became so second nature that, everything that we do, it's not a big deal anymore. Back in the day when I first started out, it was pretty much a closed network, and it was a ton of equipment and huge TV monitors in the front and the back of the rooms.
It took satellite feeds and everything. Yeah, I get it.
But now it's so easy to get on with so many different tools, and plus the ability to share information and stuff, and to transfer it back and forth through Google Classroom or other tools. It just makes sense on days so you don't have to come back and make up time on when it's not very productive, that we take advantage of the technology. And so what I'm trying to do is save these days, which we have 4 built in, for the spring. If you think you're tired of the corona now, wait till you get through the dog days of January and February, when you know how long those get, and there's very few breaks. So hopefully what we'll be able to do is implement these days to where as we get through the year a little bit further, we can take the snow day that we've missed. And plus, I'm going to wager the number of snowman pictures I saw. Everybody was not trapped inside the house doing work during the beautiful
snowman
outside
population
day like this.
went off the scale.
So
Yeah,
I'm not buying. Maybe it's a little bit inconvenient for a couple hours during the day, but kids are still learning, and we got tests coming up Thursday, Friday, which would be today and tomorrow when you're seeing this, and so this would be a great time for kids to review and get ready for their semester tests. So. The reason why we go virtual and remote learning is to protect those days. And again, when it comes time and when we feel like we're going to be okay to get through the year, that's when we'll do more of a inclement weather.
We
day.
either gripe now or gripe later.
Yeah,
why are we still in school, or why are we in school today?
Right.
So I get it.
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and
guys.
most folks will gripe now and gripe later just to be
Both.
consistent.
Yeah.
And it's nice. You know who it's going to be. And another thing, when I was earlier, I talked to Gary and Gary Beeman as our transportation and grounds guy, and they've already got the facility pretty well cleaned off. If you go by, the parking lots look really good. And again, the timing where we were in school yesterday when actually most of the snow fell. So today, knowing that it was going to be icy and bad first thing in the morning, we were able to call school and have the virtual day, when that gave them the day to get up there and empty the parking lots without cars to move around and stuff like that.
Good.
Plus, when I was coming over here,
But wait, there's more.
there's more. Breaking news. The guys are putting the fence up around the early learning center.
Now?
The early
In the
childhood
snow?
center. Yes.
They waited till it snowed to put the fence up.
No. They waited for the pieces that we had to have to put the fence up came in. I sent the board, because I'd gotten lots of questions about how long does it take to build a fence, how many superintendents it take to change a light bulb type question. And so we are putting this over concrete. It's not like where it's a big grassy area. It's some grassy area,
so
but most of this is going to concrete.
You're drilling through concrete?
Well, we were mounting these flanges on the concrete and setting the pole in them, and then they have set screws that go into them. Those actually were the hardest thing to get. We had everything else in place, but we could not get these flanges. And the last thing we got from the company we initially ordered them from was that they were lost at sea in transit. I sent the board an email with copying it to them because who's going to believe that? It just sounds like another excuse.
At sea in
lost
transit.
at sea in transit. So we canceled that order. Keith Dobbs does a great job. He's installing all that. He and his son.
Keaton.
Yeah, that's right. I seen if you knew that, and you did. Good job. So they found a place to get them. They got them in, and now they're up there putting that up.
Very nice. I'll have to run up and take a picture.
So, okay. Yes, because they actually are out there putting that into place. So that's going well. The cameras and stuff like that at each entrance are up and running and functioning like they're supposed to, I believe.
Good.
So we got clean parking lots. Why we went virtual. The HESF grants are going to be taking pictures. That you should be able to get some of that information before long about who got the grants from the Hennessey Education School Foundation.
Yes.
That those pictures are in place or being taken.
Okay.
I was going to go take the middle school and high school, so it'll be too late by the time you see this. But I'm not going to be there tomorrow. I've got to take a beef in to be butchered. So that got put off because of the weather for a couple days. And if you know, we kind of like we talked about before coming on, those are really hard to get. So I'm taking a vacation day to end the life of a hapless bovine.
Great.
But Angela will have some Miss
sliding
Avila
into the ditch today.
Yeah. So Miss Avila will need to have somebody else, and she already have it because I've already emailed her or texted her. I can't remember which one it was that she would need to do that. So they're getting those out. That is a tremendous boost to the school. The teachers, most of it's direct teacher grants, and it's information technology devices.
Where does that come from? Who funds that?
So the Hennessey Education School Foundation, prior to the Ray Kokajon Trust gift, had fundraisers. The biggest one was the golf tournament, I believe. Yep. And now Ray Kokajon has donated or set up a trust, and the school is the beneficiary of the trust through the Hennessey Education School Foundation.
I gotcha.
And again, it was...
as soon as that came out of my mouth, I knew what it was.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So something else that you just brought up was that the dome is backwards. That is not accurate.
Yeah, we were at... I'm going to call out Shelley. Shelley knows who Shelley is. Said that the dome is backwards. The seating is switched the way people should sit. So I asked Dr. Woods, I said, so the dome's backwards.
Right.
And you immediately said...
Well, I said, I repeated a line from the Search for the Holy Grail, Monty Python and Search for the Holy Grail. But what I'm going to tell you is no.
Okay.
It's not
That's the
backwards.
short answer. It's not backwards.
Short answer, it's not backwards. And so if you go into the old gym and look, home Hennessey folks sat behind the teams. The thing is, we just did the old gym wasn't big enough that everybody from Hennessey could sit on one side, right? So
you had to
it was split up. If you look, it says visitor seating is on the east side of the. I'm talking about the old gym, the east side of the old gym on the north end. Mm-hmm. So that, it was just a smaller section. Well, now the east side is home because it's behind the benches. You don't ever. Why would we put our kids in front of the opposing team's fans? Mm-hmm. That just doesn't work well. So our home seats are the east side, and there are 3 sections of chairbacks and 2 small sections of the lumbar support seats. On the west side, there's 1 center section of chairbacks, and then the other 4 sections are
all the good seats are on the east side.
Right, and you're sitting behind your team. You know, you're sitting there. We're there, and again, I think everyone was used to seeing the kids from the front as they ran in. They got a number. We give them a program, so just make that association. But no, the dome is not backwards.
Sorry, Shelley.
Sorry. So again, just to clarify that. And good thing it's not, because Governor Stitt just sent out an executive order that limits. Here's what affects us. It says attendance at youth indoor sporting events will be limited to 4 spectators per participant, or 50% of the building's capacity. Which that would have been a great out for us, because that's still, we got about 2,000 capacity of 2,000 folk, but then he put on there whichever is lower.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty quickly going to be the 4 spectators
and I was
per
at
participant.
the board meeting, and they were discussing, so what is a participant?
So,
and that is
OSSAA came out, and it's basically anybody in uniform.
So it doesn't count like the concession stand and
didn't appear
all of
to
those
be.
kind of
They
people.
didn't appear that they were going to do
Okay,
that.
so
they kind of
it's
said
how many times?
4.
4 times.
So like cheerleaders,
four people per player and cheerleader, essentially.
there's a question about does that include pep band because they wouldn't have an exact uniform, but they are, and so that
They
was
are
a little clear.
sort of uniformed. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was that was a little bit unclear. And again, if you've listened and seen our band lately, there are folks I think would want to come just see them play.
They're pretty good.
Did you go to the?
I
You
went
were
to
at
the
the
concert.
and that little girl that was played that Bohemian Rhapsody type of thing.
Yeah.
That's not the right term, but you know.
What was it? Was
that?
it was Bohemian Rhapsody?
No. That's the Queen song. This was that Trans-Siberian
That's it.
Railroad.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra song.
not
Yeah.
railroad. That's
Yep.
I don't know where that came from.
Yep.
But man, she could
killed
rock
it.
those drums, couldn't
Yeah.
she? That was amazing.
What that was is that, in fact, I was back in the control room when it started, and I heard the music start, and then there's this bass that I knew the sound system of that building wasn't capable of, and realized that this young girl is playing the bass part
Yep.
live to the song. It was awesome.
Yeah, well,
It was really cool.
But they also played like that at the games. And we
Okay,
just
yep.
got to get a little more coordination because Patrick Griffin has been our longtime announcer, and he kind of has a set of cues lined up as well. And so we kind of stepped on each other a little bit every now and then.
It's going to be
during the
neat when
deal,
it
but-
clicks. It's
Yeah.
going to be really cool.
Yeah.
And while we're on the band, just really fast, I posted a video yesterday. This is screwed up because we're taping this, but yesterday about the 3 major events that are happening in Hennessey between now and Christmas. And of course, Mistletoe Magic is tonight if you're watching this video. The parade is Saturday, and the band is going to set up across from the care center static and let the
okay.
parade come by them.
Okay.
So the
Very
care
nice.
center can hear the parade, and the parade passerbyers can hear the parade. So that'll be kind of neat.
Very nice.
All right.
Very nice. Adam Ray is the band director, and he is doing a phenomenal job. He just brings a level of understanding of the technical side.
Well, he's a musician, and he's a techie, so he gets, he's a
Technician.
performer. He's an active performer. He
Yeah.
performs on weekends and things like that, I guess.
Yes. He's
Has
in
a
the
band,
business.
and
Yeah.
So it's
And-
pretty
and,
cool. So he
produced
brings
a lot
that
of
real
stuff.
life skill to the kids
Absolutely.
in the band.
Some other things. There were some new guidelines. We talked about them a little bit. Again, hitting them up as the new guidelines for CDC to be returned from quarantine. Again, if you missed that before, in the past it's been 14 days, no exceptions, no question about it. Close contact, 14 days. That starts counting from now. Well, they've changed that now. So if you're a close contact, this is a close contact. If it's a positive test, that's still the same. We're talking about just the changes to the close contact. It appears that after a length of time, which it appears to be 7 to 10 days, your level of contagiousness is diminished significantly. So they've changed it to where if you go 7 days and then get a test and you test negative, then you can come back on the 7th day. Or you go 10 days with no symptoms, you can come back on the 10th day, but both of those situations require that you then have additional monitoring, which I thought was going to be a big challenge. But when you read the details about what that means in the data or the information they send out from CDC, it's just the same thing we've been doing. Wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands more often, and use hand sanitizer. Basically, don't touch your face, use hand sanitizer type thing. So that's really just that they're going to be observed. And now we've always in the past said masks in class are optional. They really aren't. If you're coming back from a quarantine, you're supposed to wear your mask the whole time.
It needs to be done.
But it's still because when I say optional, I mean there are some skills, especially when you're in the lower grades and you're working on reading and the ability to hear a sound is important.
Pronunciation.
Yes,
and
and
I'm horribly hard of hearing. I need to see lips. I
Yeah.
mean, if you have a mask on, I'm lost. So
Yeah, and that's exactly right, because a lot of what we're trying to teach is tongue placement and lip movement and all that stuff.
I did. I think last week we talked about that the school nurse is now capable of doing testing, but she can only test staff and teachers. She can't test students.
Well, as it stands right now, we kind of thought it was going to be available for students with a release from a parent, but at this moment, that appears not to be true, and it's called a CLIA, C-L-I-A, CLIA Waiver, and we'd be using the Binax now, this test.
Okay.
There were some that were, I guess this one's a little more reliable. Some of the tests.
That's not the one that has the drill with the 12-inch bit on it, right?
No.
They don't drill into your ear for testing?
No,
Okay.
they do not. They do that just as an additional item that they do.
That's another test?
Yes.
Okay.
To see if you'll actually sit there long enough to let them do that. Kind of like thinning the herd. And so you use the Binax Now test, which I understand is more reliable than some of the early quick tests. Because Nurse Musney will know in about 15 minutes what the test result is. If you test positive, then you have to go to a healthcare provider, a health department, Dr. Farrell, Dr. Henderson, those folks, and get a follow-up test. If you're negative, you're good to go.
Okay.
But there's only one other condition that you could test students, and that was when we talked earlier about the quarantining on site, where they quarantine the students at the site. We talked about using the auditorium and places like that. But again, we've chose to not do the quarantine on site right now. We'd like to see how that plays out. That was only good through the end of December, so by the time we get back from Christmas break,
it's over anyway.
It's over anyway, and hopefully what they'll have done is take the folks who did the quarantine in place, come up with some guidelines that really made a little more sense, because one of the criteria was that you tested on day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, and 14 or something.
And
like
those are the nose test? How are they testing?
I don't know. I'm not. I don't. There was. I don't know if it's a swab or because they had gone to a saliva test. I think at one point.
That'd be a little better.
But I don't. I don't know how this test is administered. Something to talk about next week.
Yeah,
are we going to do this over Christmas?
No, we're not going to do a show next week because everybody's on break. In fact, my staff we're trying to take a break next week also.
Okay.
So in 2 weeks we'll be back.
Okay.
And we'll have the answer to that.
Hopefully so.
Great.
Okay, so I was going to think.
The only other thing I had was that you something came up, I guess, or this is something that you weren't anticipating, was teachers teaching from home.
Yes.
Because now.
Well, we did. We have a.
You planned on it, but now it's actually being implemented.
Right.
Yeah.
We have a work at home plan. We did not want to make it a policy, because then, if the COVID's defeated and it becomes more like a flu shot annually, blah blah blah, then we didn't want it in policy to where it became an actual school board policy. This is a plan that the board approved through our return to learn plan that we had to do early on. So it's part of that. But the way that we have set our rooms up, it allows for teachers at home to teach back, because a lot of times someone's quarantined because of their kiddos, or maybe
it's not them that's sick, it's somebody else in the family.
They've been exposed, or they're caring for someone that's been exposed, or caring for someone that's ill. There's a lot of reasons you might be left at home. And the other thing is the COVID Family Leave Act that expires at the end of December, and so what do we do next semester, because the COVID hasn't gone away. And so this would allow you, if you will teach from home, and I mean, you really have to teach. We've monitored. You just can't log on and say do questions 1 through 9.
Point the camera at the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They have to, I'm just going to use Kim Faring. I've had to go in her room several times because there is a bit of technical knowledge about how to open the devices and stuff and log on. It takes to get in. So I was doing that a couple mornings, and I got to watch her do that, and there was teaching and learning going on, without a doubt, and the ability to share. We had a few bumps, and we figured out why they were being caused, and we got them sorted out. And I got to watch. There were 2 or 3 kids at home. There was 15 in the classroom, and there was Miss Faring in her home teaching back.
Is there an aide or something in the room?
Usually, yes, there'll be an aide or a substitute.
Okay.
Yeah, the substitute teachers. Mr. P came back and helped us out, and so he was really very useful in that role. because of his being a long-time educator, and so that probably contributed to the quality of what was happening on there. Was actually having him in there. So yes, we built these systems unknowingly at the time we bought them, but when we saw where we were, we got together and we worked through. And there's still some things that I was unaware of that we're having to deal with, but it just allows a great deal of flexibility. So you could be the only one in the classroom teaching to everybody via distance, or you could be the only one out at distance and everyone else could be in the classroom, or anything in between.
Very cool.
We got awning drawings for
yes, I don't
the.
have them with me, but if I can think of it, I'll put them up. Go ahead and tell them what it is you're doing.
Well, we're putting we have to cover, and you can't connect the two buildings, the new and the old, because if you do, then you have to bring the old building up to code, the newest code. Well, that's financially prohibitive.
There it is.
So there it is.
You can't see it, but essentially what it is they're putting on a big carport, if you would.
Sort of, hopefully
covering, awning.
Yeah, an awning. It's going to hopefully be a little more aesthetically appealing.
Okay. So not those garage things you buy at Taggart's nailed together.
Right. That's not the plan. We do have a couple of those.
Yes. This is to connect the Dome Eagle Event Center with the high school.
Right.
So if it is raining or inclement weather, you can get into the Dome without getting.
It's not the best situation as far as how we have to transfer out. And most situations they would not necessarily use it, but it's there for that use. Plus there's sunshade spots.
I see that. So you're making it not only a path between the buildings, but there are shaded areas all around that for like sitting or eating lunch or outdoor campusy kind of a thing.
And again, we talk about that. Well, we haven't done anything in the Dome as far as up on the mezzanine or in the lobby about seating, because again, we don't want to create another spot where everybody would congregate and not be able to social distance and stuff like that. So you won't necessarily see the sunspots immediately, but the primary awning is metal.
Gotcha.
And the others are cloth. And if you take good care of them, they could last 2 to 5 years. If not, if we had a big snow, they would tend to rip and
it's going to be pretty neat when that gets in there, because I know that was the original. The original plan was to hard connect them, and then we learned that if you do that, that's cost prohibitive to connect.
They will go together, but they won't be attached.
Sure.
They will certainly be in compliance with any state and federal fire codes and laws.
Yes.
The walkers that are taking advantage of the walking track in the Dome, we had 24 when I talked to them at the board meeting, and I think I signed another 3 or 4.
Well, by the other night, and the whole place was lit up, and it was like, what's going on? Am I missing something? And it was people walking. Yeah. There was a lot of cars out there.
The Dome is besides being considered backwards, it's functioning extremely well. The football dinner we held it in there, and part of the thing we did was we could have taken the goals out, and that would have even lessened the gym look. But we used carpet tiles. They're 2 foot wide by 6 feet long, and you zigzag them in a pattern, and you can cover the whole. You put the bleachers back and cover the whole space. Or what we did was about 3/4 of the court for the football banquet, and it went really well.
It looked really nice. It looked like an event space, not a gym.
Right. Not a gym that you're trying to hang some streamers and stuff and make it not a gym.
And you can compress it or expand it with the bleachers, and it was neat. It looked really, really nice.
And again, you can do. We've got enough to cover the entire floor, and when you pull both sets of bleachers back, it's a pretty good sized space. But again, it's serving its purpose, and I'm very pleased with it. It's disappointing that we're not able to really do everything we had planned because again, with the inability to gather. But we're working through that.
A lot of opportunities there.
We had our audit. Our audit went real well. So again, the only thing is one of the things I keep telling everyone is we're struggling with financially collecting gross production and ad valorem. It's put us about $1 million, and there's the number that's $1,082,000 is what we are behind collection-wise same time last year. So
Well, it's different when you come from way up high and we're
Yeah.
sliding off to reality now is
Yes.
essentially what's happening. But
right. Well, and we again, you haven't heard a lot about it because we've got a tremendous financial crew. Timberly Yeck and Ginger Cox and Randy Franklin are three dandies, and we put a lot of money back. But unfortunately, we're going through a lot of it right now just to keep everybody employed and keep all of our programs operating and functioning. And I don't think anyone has noticed that there's been a big difference, but there certainly has.
careful
And
planning.
So we'll be dealing with that throughout the rest of the time. That's why there was a question about what the retirement incentive was on the agenda. And part of that is that's just an incentive. If somebody's thinking about retiring, it's an incentive to go ahead and maybe do that now as opposed to a year or 2 years from now. And it's a pretty benign way to help move spots around.
Sure,
So
if you're thinking of it. And,
Yeah.
Because I'm going to start drawing. I'm not retiring,
Oh.
but I am going to start my draw, my
Yeah.
Social Security draw
Right.
next year on my birthday, May
Well-
6th. Send a card. Money is
May-
accepted.
May 6th. Make another May. So how old will you be?
65.
Will you really? You
Yeah.
look so much younger than that.
Yeah.
Okay, 65. Okay, I got
Yeah.
that written down.
Okay, good deal. He's
so
going to probably lose that before he gets out the door. But
I do want you to know, I thought you were going to apply for the early retirement, but you do have to be an employee of the school. It's not for just anybody that's
Hey,
thinking
they've
about
tried.
retiring.
They've
So-
tried. I just can't
Yeah.
go there
Yes.
yet.
Yeah. That is your fault that
I
you,
know
you
it
can't.
is.
Not
No,
not ours.
I didn't.
So
Go there. I have an email from Miss Korey,
okay, Renee.
Renee Korey,
Yeah, she's a dandy.
our neighbor.
Yeah.
And she wants anyone that did not get a text about early release yesterday. You need to text, write this down, 67587, and then type yes. And that will get you into that text system. So when school gets out early or school closes or
yes.
school whatever, this is the text system.
Right. And
They-
we're trying to do that because a phone call is just so hard. What we end up getting is people will not answer the phone call from the school and then
then they call you
call and
back.
ask what was the call about. And yes, so this way you would at your leisure you could open the text. And
I
so
actually
it's-
got all three. I got the call,
Yes,
I got
I
the
do too.
text, and I got the email.
Right.
So I forgot how you get the email, but you might look into that.
It's just part of
When you
the
do
whole
when you-
all call thing.
Okay. So there shouldn't be any reason you're not getting this if you just do that. So
Yep.
it's 67587, and then type in yes. And by the way, the building's not falling down. It's ice coming off the roof, metal roof.
So you say.
Uh-huh. All right. Is that a wrap?
So there's two papers there. They're the
No,
same
same thing. She's reminding me.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Miss Curry works.
Renee gets a little excited and
yeah.
make sure we got it covered.
Okay.
So
Very
there
nice.
you go, Renee. Make sure I got it right. If not, text me.
Yep. So, guess that's it.
That's a
when,
wrap.
when do we have to do this again? When will we do this again?
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks.
So
Okay.
the
the
Wednesday
Jan-
you come back from school, we'll shoot
January?
again. Yeah.
Okay.
And then don't forget, head over to the allaboutHennessy.com and take a look at those Santa letters. They're entertaining to just read.
Yep.
And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. The paper's free and a lot of good stuff. Angie worked really hard on that.
It's very handy.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you,
See you in
Jack.
2 weeks. Have a good vacation.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
All right. See
Same
ya.
thing to everybody out there.